Aaron Donald went bananas in practice, joint practices with the Cincinnati Bengals, did the double Myles Garrett, 2 helmets. Although if you appeared from the clip I was looking at, he only appeared to be swinging 1 helmet, but he was swinging the living hell out of that helmet. This isn't the kind of thing where the league typically, there's a lot of fights in practice. You don't usually see the league suspend anybody. I mean, teams have suspend teams. Odds the Rams actually suspend Aaron Donald for this.
By the way, I haven't seen anybody that mad since somebody brought up the Masked Singer to you. So it was impressive to see Donald Donald throwing blows like that. I mean, the chances of the Rams being like, you know what, Aaron? Yeah, we're going to suspend you for a few games. Yeah, I it's about the same as me growing a full head of hair overnight. It ain't happening. It's not, and it's hilarious. But I mean, the NFL is going to have to probably like readjust this. We see fights in these joint practices all the time. It's usually just your typical football fights, right? Like, yeah, maybe you grab a face mask or whatever. This is Aaron Donald straight swinging a helmet, which Myles Garrett's got to be like, hey, if I had done that in practice, I wouldn't have got any games? Really? Like, that's all I had to do was wait till joint practice? So something to Myles Garrett, I believe, got 6 games for, ended his season early. Aaron Donald's going to get nothing? That just doesn't make logical sense. So we just got this clip right before we started podcasting, so we were both kind of frantically searching to see if anybody had been suspended for a practice thing before. And all it comes up is, Martellus Bennett got suspended by the team, and Steve Smith once got suspended by the team. Michael Westbrook once got suspended by the team. The NFL's never stepped in as far as we can tell. And the Rams aren't suspending Aaron Donald. So he could basically just be swinging helmets like Myles Garrett, and nothing's going to happen to him at all.
All these joint practices, it was funny because when I went to visit a team on the camp tour, I was talking to the GM, and they were about to head off to some joint practices. And I kind of made the joke. I was like, man, I'm going to miss it every single time I'm ever in joint practices. There's crazy fights. Like every joint practice I've ever been to, there's always been fights that break out. And they get pretty heated, not just the typical I'm pulling your face mask, pushing. Like you've seen guys on the ground, punches being thrown, all this stuff. And we've seen it multiple times in joint practices this offseason. This is a cut above what normally happens. And I mean, but after this, I would have to think that at some point the league, and it might be the league meetings coming up here in the fall, they make it a point to, send a memo or something saying, hey, look, if we're going to do these joint practices, or maybe it's next offseason, this needs to be a point of emphasis that you can't allow things like this to, escalate to the level of an Aaron Donald, and maybe even alert teams that if someone's hitting guys with helmets in the joint practice, we're going to step in and start suspending those players. Because
do you think they could do that? Do you think they could legislate that? I mean, isn't that something the union would have to agree to as well? Because you're talking about, and all of a sudden, if I'm a coach, if I'm Sean McVay, I'm like, I mean, this is probably a little too extreme for this example, but if I'm Sean McVay, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, we get some benefit out of practicing against the Bengals, I guess, but if I'm at risk of one of my guys getting suspended over a fight and it's Aaron Donald for the Bills game, why am I doing this? Like, and I guess it's very rare. I get that, but it's still like, I'm sure that all of a sudden these coaches would be like, I just lost one of my players for a game over a practice fight. Like that, I don't know that they'd want that.